Hi students, this is Sir Polly from the Department of Political Science. I'm sure you are all keeping fine and well at home. In the last few videos, we have learned, rather we have completed 2 chapters from the contemporary world politics. The first chapter was the Cold War era. The second chapter was the end of bipolarity. You know, from this year onwards, CBSE has made some changes in the syllabus, and due to this pandemic, some of the chapters have been omitted. So the third chapter, what is there in the textbook, is not included in the syllabus. So today we are getting into the 4th chapter. The name of the 4th chapter is New Centers of Power. New Centers of Power. Well, my dear boys and girls, get ready. We are going to learn a new chapter, that is chapter 4 from the contemporary world politics. In the textbook, the name is Alternate Centers of Power, but from this year onwards, the name is changed into New Centers of Power. So let's learn which are these new centers of power in the world. Well, what are exactly these new centers of power? In the first chapter, we have seen during the Cold War, the world was dominated by 2 powers, the US and the USSR, and hence we had bipolarity. In the second chapter, we have learned the disintegration of USSR. USSR was disintegrated, and what happened? Bipolarity came to an end, and the world came to be dominated by only one power, that is the United States. And so from bipolarity, we had unipolarity. That means in the world, after the disintegration of USSR, there was only one power, that is the US. And so we had unipolarity. But what happened? Slowly, many new organizations, many new countries started to grow and develop as new centers of power. They are capable of competing with the US. And so today, we have many such new centers of power. So from bipolarity, we came to unipolarity, but today from unipolarity, we are slowly marching ahead to multipolarity. Multipolarity means a world order which is dominated by many powers. So which are these new powers that are coming up in the world? Besides the one already existing, that is the US. Besides the US, which are the other powers coming up in the world? They are known as new centers of power. And that's what we are going to learn in this particular chapter, chapter 4 from the contemporary world politics. I think I'm sure you understood the meaning of the term new centers of power. Now, which are these new centers of power? There are 2 categories of new centers of power. The first category is organizations. They are not simply a country or a state, they are organizations. Group of countries, group of states have made organizations. Which are the organizations? One is European Union. Second one is Asean. Third one is SAARC. And the fourth, BRICS. We will be learning them in details, one by one. But for time being, you just remember, in your syllabus, there are 4 organizations that are coming up as new centers of power in the world. And these 4 organizations are, once more, European Union, second one Asean, third one SAARC, and the fourth BRICS. Besides the organizations, there are some states, some countries are also coming up as new centers of power. They are, number 1, Russia, number 2, China, number 3, India, and the 4th, Israel. So once more, the states that are coming up as new centers of power which are there in your syllabus: Russia, China, India, and Israel. So all these 4 organizations and 4 states are called new centers of power in the world. And we will be discussing about all these in details in this chapter. Well, I'm clear with you? So, instead of wasting time, first let us get into the first new center of power in the world. We'll be learning first the organizations. The 4 organizations we learn first. Afterwards, we shall go to the 4 states. So from the organizations, the number 1 is the European Union. In short form, it is called EU. European Union, EU. Well, my dear boys and girls, first let us have an idea how this EU or European Union was formed. Let's look into the origin or the history of the formation of European Union. After the Second World War, all the European countries felt the need for forming an organization of theirs so that they can work as a group, so that they can have economic cooperation, military cooperation, and as a result, they can grow together. So there have been so many discussions. Many small organizations were formed, such as Organization of European Economic Council, Council of Europe, European Parliament, and so on. Like that, many small organizations were formed among themselves. And after the disintegration of USSR in 1991, they became, more interested. They became more active, and European Union was finally established on February 7, 1992. So European Union was established on February 7, 1992 by a treaty signed by the European countries called Maastricht Treaty. Maastricht Treaty was signed on February 7, 1992, and with that, officially the European Union came to exist. So European Union is basically a union, an organization of European countries. Initially, there were only the Western European countries. But slowly, it spread to other parts of Europe. Today, almost all the European countries are member of this European Union or EU. At present, it has got 27 members. 27 members means 27 member countries, all European countries. Unfortunately, one of its founder member and one of the very strong member of the European Union, that is UK, United Kingdom, exited from EU in this year. And that process of exit of UK from Britain from European Union was nicknamed as Brexit, B-R-E-X-I-T. Brexit, Britain's exit from the European Union. But till today, European Union has 27 members. So once more, European Union was established on February 7, 1992 by a treaty called Maastricht Treaty. It has got 27 members. One of its founder member, UK, exited from it. It has got 27 members. Purpose. For what purpose the European Union was formed? It was formed basically for cooperation among the European countries. What type of cooperation? Economic cooperation, military cooperation, and socio-cultural cooperation. They wanted to have a cooperation among themselves. They wanted to work under an umbrella, and so they formed a group called the European Union. Slowly, this organization has become a very, very powerful organization in the world today. It has got its own currency known as Euro, E-U-R-O, Euro. And it has got its own flag, it has got its own anthem, and today the European Union is coming up as a new center of power in the world, which can compete with the other power that is already existing, that is the US. I would like to tell something about today the European flag. It has got its own flag. The European flag is rectangular in shape. You can look in your textbook and see. It has got 12 golden stars in the middle in a circular form. 12 golden stars in the middle of the rectangle in a circular form. The 12 stars in the circular form represents the unity and solidarity among the members of the European Union. And why the number 12? Very often children used to get confused. The number 12 does not mean that the European Union has got only 12 members. No, that's not. They have chosen the number 12 because, according to their belief, the number 12 is considered as a number of perfection. And that's why they have taken this number 12. So European flag is rectangular in shape, having 12 golden stars in the form of a circle in the middle of the rectangle. The number 12 represents number of perfection, and the 12 golden stars in the form of circle represents the solidarity and unity among the European countries, European Union. So the European Union is one of the first organizations that is coming up as new center of power in the world. So we have seen how it was established, when was it established, it's for what purpose it was established, its currency, flag, and all that. Now we shall examine the strength of the European Union. How powerful this union, how powerful this organization. First, let's look into its economic strength. Economic strength of European Union. All the 27 members put together as a union, its economic strength is very, very strong. Its economic strength is second, it is the second largest economy in the world next to the US. Its share in the world market is much, much larger than the US itself. And you know, all these European members have great influence in all the international organizations like World Trade Organization, World Bank, IMF, and all that. They also have got great influence in almost all the countries in the world. So economically, European Union is very, very strong. It's just next to the US. Now coming to the military strength of European Union. Like the economic strength, the European Union also has got a great military strength. Again, second largest. The combined military strength of European Union is second largest in the world. Again, next to the US. Its military spending also next to the US. It's one of its members, France, is a nuclear power. And it is also a permanent member of the UN Security Council. Britain was also a permanent member of the UN Security Council. It is also a nuclear power, but it has, come out of the European Union. But France is still a nuclear power, and it is a permanent member of the Security Council. And the European Union members, they are also very, very strong in the space and communication field. So if you look at the military strength of European Union also, it's very, very, very strong. So by looking at all these points, we can easily conclude that European Union is undoubtedly is a new center of power in the world. It can compete with the US. So that's all about the first organization that is coming up as a new center of power in the world, that is the European Union. Now we shall see the second most important center of power in the world. It's also an organization, and it is known as Asean. A-S-E-A-N, Asean. Full form, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Asean, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Well, my dear boys and girls, we have seen for what purpose the European Union was formed. It was formed by the European countries in order to have economic, social, and military cooperation among the European countries. Similarly, South Asian countries, they also wanted to form an organization in order to have similar purpose. They wanted to have economic, military, as well as socio-cultural cooperation among themselves. So the South Asian countries formed an organization called Asean. And we are going to learn about that. When was it formed? Who are the members of it? And what is its strength? Can this organization be a new center of power in the world that can compete with the existing power, that is the US? Well, get ready. ASEAN was established in 1967. It was formed by initially only 5 countries. Which are these 5 countries? Number 1 is Indonesia. Number 2, Malaysia. Number 3, Philippines. Number 4, Singapore. And number 5, Thailand. So these 5 countries jointly formed the organization called ASEAN in 1967. Later on, 5 more countries joined this organization, taking the total number to 10. And which are these 5 countries? Number 1, Brunei. Number 2, Vietnam. Next, Laos. Next, Myanmar. And finally, Cambodia. So, ASEAN is an organization formed by South Asian countries consisting of 10 countries. Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia. These are the members of ASEAN. Well, that's how it was formed. For what purpose it was formed? It was formed for having economic cooperation among themselves, having military cooperation among themselves, and as well as to have mutual cooperation and understanding among themselves. That was the main purpose of this association. Now I will go to the next very important point, ASEAN flag. No, like the European flag. European Union also has got a flag. ASEAN also has got a flag. It is rectangular in shape. You can check in your note copy as well as your textbook. Rectangular in shape. And in the middle there is a circle having 10 stalks of paddy, means rice, tied in the middle. Each stalk, 10 of them, represents the 10 members. Each stalk represents one member. 10 of them are there, and they're tied together in the middle. And why they're tied? That tie represents the unity of the 10 members. The 10 members are tied together. They stay as one group, like one united nation. They are staying as a group. That's when they're tying together. That is a symbol of the ASEAN flag. So a rectangle having a circle. In the middle of the circle, there's a 10 stalk of paddy tied in the middle. Fine, that is the ASEAN flag. Now slowly, this ASEAN tried to expand its power. In order to make it strong, it formed 3 pillars. And this is one of the most important topics of this ASEAN. ASEAN formed 3 pillars known as, first one is called ASEAN Security Community, in order to have security among themselves. And second one is called ASEAN Economic Community, in order to have economic cooperation among the members. And third one is called ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community, in order to have cooperation among them in the field of socio-cultural activities. And with these 3 pillars, slowly, this association is growing and becoming a new center of power in the world. Well, now we shall look into the strength of this ASEAN. How powerful this ASEAN is. Can it be like the European Union, or can it compete with the America? Let's look into it. But let me tell you, ASEAN is actually an organization of very small and poor countries. Its strength, both military and economy, is much lesser than European Union or US. But the most important factor is that the ASEAN countries are the most fast growing economy in the world. And the big bosses like America and China, they have got a great eye and influence in this region. And if all these countries can stay together and work together and develop, no doubt ASEAN can grow as a new center of power in the world. Well, my dear boys and girls, I'm going to wind up this video. Before winding up, let me recap what we have learned now. We are learning about new centers of power in the world. After the disintegration of USSR, only one power was there, that is US, but now new centers are coming up. One we learned in the first video, that is European Union, and now we have learned ASEAN. ASEAN means Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which was formed in 1967. In the beginning, it had only 5 countries. Later on, 5 more countries joined, and today it has got 10 members. And it can grow as an alternative center of power in the world. I think I have made the point clear. Stay home, stay safe, and thank you so much, and keep learning.